Glendale was a rough round for more than a few riders who now look forward to the week off to help get back to 100% before the series swings east and not another break until April. Let's take a look at what riders went down, what they hurt, and when we can expect them back on the bike in this RotoMoto injury report brought to you by O'Neil. First things first, the big one, of course, was Nate Thrasher crashing out of the lead in the 250 heat race. Nate came up short, tripling in the long rhythm, and went with the seat bounce pogo flip, landing to flat in between the rhythm lanes. At first glance, it seemed like Nate took the brunt of that landing on his hip, and I definitely feared a fracture or break after the race was forced to be red flagged in order to get the 57 out of harm's way. But just like at A1, Nate, who is apparently made of rubber, got away with relatively minor injuries. On Instagram, Nate said of his night, "Glendale was going good until it wasn't last night. As you probably saw in my heat, I had a pretty gnarly crash and was transported to a local hospital. Thankfully, I will be okay and leaving with just a bone bruise and a concussion, going to get some rest, then get back to work." Obviously, concussions are serious and should be taken even more seriously in our sport, but luckily for Nate, the West doesn't line up again until Seattle in late March, so he has nearly 6 weeks and his head should be crystal clear by then. A touch of update on Chase Sexton, who revealed before the night show that he suffered a crash in practice leading up to Glendale and would be racing at less than 100%, and it showed this weekend. Chase had his worst result of the year, barely finishing inside the top 10 with his fastest lap only 11th best in the class. Chase confirmed that it was a bone bruise in his clutch hand after a tip over early in the week that caused him to put his hand out to brace for impact. Luckily, nothing broken, but Chase does have a bone bruise serious enough that as of Thursday, the idea of him racing was still up in the air. Luckily, he was able to power through the pain and salvage some points despite losing the red plate in the process. Just like any other type of bruise, it is hard to pinpoint a recovery time for Sexton or Thrasher, as there are varying degrees of severity. Put simply, a bone bruise or a bone contusion is a surface injury to the bone, which is most common among bones closer to the surface of the skin. It will feel like a normal bruise on steroids, leading to stiffness, swelling of joints, and much more tender and painful than a surface bruise. Although the pain and discomfort can last up to a few months, it could also be just a few weeks until returning to relative normalcy. Without knowing the severity of either rider, I would expect Chase to take the week off with no race this weekend to focus on healing up and be back up to speed quickly, but Nate is definitely happy to have the 6-week break before Seattle after his ass-to-ground impact. A non-report of sort from Ryder Difrancesco, the TLD-backed Gas rider, crashed out of the main event while running in the top 10 during the 250 main, with the broadcast showing him sitting up and coherent alongside one of the long rhythm lanes. Ryder reported that he came up short in a rhythm and is happy to have a few weeks off to recover, and nothing more. Hopefully we get something out of the TLD camp soon, but luckily Ryder has 6 weeks off to get back to full health. Josh Cartright had a rough go in 2024 thus far, still mainless in 6 attempts after making 14 of them just a year ago. Josh also cased a triple in the rhythm lane in his heat race and was unable to line up for the LCQ. On his injury, Josh reported, "Tough weekend in Phoenix, cased the triple in the rhythm section and went over the bars. Thank you to the medical unit at the track for their care. Luckily, they said it was a minor AC separation, so hopefully it will just be a week or two recovery. I will go to my doctor this week and get it checked out further. I was feeling good in practice and finally comfortable on the bike on race day, so this is a bummer, but this is definitely won't keep me down. I will be back very soon. Hopefully make it back to my hometown round in Dallas." An AC or a shoulder separation, much like a bone contusion, is something that riders can and will ride through, but the severity could be limiting or just a minor annoyance. Either way, the outlook is bright that Josh can line up for his home round in 2 weeks, but definitely be behind the 8 ball looking for his first main event of 2024. Small update on the Club MX boys on the East Coast. Club MX has reported that Jet Reynolds suffered from a similar injury as Josh Cartright, has already returned to a full range of motion following a crash in free practice, and with the week off is expected to be good to go for Dallas. Jeremy Martin is continuing to follow the concussion protocols, and with the number 6 flying home with the team on Sunday, it must not have been that serious of a concussion in the first place. The number 6 is also hopeful to race in Dallas on the 24th. I also fully expect Colt Nichols to join the series and take his place under the Beta Factory Racing Team canopy in Dallas, and with Adam Cianciarulo on a week-to-week recovery from a break in his hand, it is entirely possible we see all 17 factory riders healthy and on the gate a whopping 7 weeks into the season. A lot of hate comms have been been thrown at Feld and Dirtworks removing the Dragons back and limiting the whoop section. Do you think the changes to the track are what have led to so many of the top guys staying healthy this year? Or do you think it's more luck and we are just fortunate that it's all going this way? Let me know in the comments how you feel about the track changes, and be sure to like the video and subscribe for more breaking news and analysis like this one. Thanks as always for watching RotoMoto. My name is Donnie. Keep it pinned to the weekend.